On the 24th of August, 394 AD, the final hieroglyphic inscription was carved. With it, past ancient Egypt. 2,000 years ago, during the New Kingdom, Egypt was at the peak of its power, only challenged by the Hittites. But everything changed when the Sea Peoples attacked. Combined with the spiraling crisis, the Middle East went into the Bronze Age collapse. Unlike the Mycenaeans and the Hittites, Egypt did survive the Bronze Age collapse, albeit it was a Pyrrhic victory. Under Ramses III's successors, the empire began to gradually disintegrate as local rulers basically ran away with power. This kicked off the Third Intermediate Period, as later the Kushites and the Neo-Assyrians took power. The 26th dynasty of Egypt was the last native dynasty to hold power, before eventually falling to the Achaemenids in 540 BC. Changing hands to Alexander and the Ptolemies, conquered by Rome, then the Arabs, then the Turks, and finally the British. Muhammad Naguib, first president of Egypt, would be the first native Egyptian to rule in about the cool 3,000 years. In the Fallen Eagle mod for CK3, we can change that, using this handsome specimen as our guide to restoring the land of the pharaohs. With that, let's begin our story in 361 AD. On the far frontier of Roman Egypt, Comes here is diligent, honest, and just. In 362, proconsul Strategos ended up having to face a rebellion, giving Comes the ability to stay loyal and extract some concessions without a fight. A Grand Khanate would be constructed in Cyrene in order to improve the economy, particularly by increasing development. Combined with a stream of refugees from the conflict zones around them, the Cyrenians found themselves very prosperous relative to the rest of Egypt. Comes would revoke the Kashmir Fillet from local leaders, centralizing his control and filling his coffers greatly. Lycopolis had entered into a period of chaos thanks to their failed rebellion against the governor of Thebaida. Comes began preparing for a military expedition in order to take over the land for himself, helping to position himself as the most powerful leader in Thebaida, even more powerful than the governor. Chaos was not just local either. The once invincible behemoth of the Roman Empire had split in two, with the Western Roman Empire beginning to disintegrate under weight of rebellion and invasion, providing a power vacuum. In 376, Comes made his play, seizing Lycopolis and gathering even more strength. The next few years were spent on consolidating Lycopolis and developing it. Also, it is shocking how fast the Western Roman Empire collapsed. You're telling me not 20 years after I started the game, they have managed to lose everything except Italy. In 386 AD, Comes struck for Apopolis. Fighting for an entire month against the Theobadian army, he had successfully defeated it, showing that the provincial governor could not keep the lid on his power. He was, by this point, one of the most powerful rulers in Aegyptus, because everybody else was fighting each other. Governor Demetrios went into massive debt. Finally, in 392 AD, Comes struck, taking the capital of Berenice and destroyed the Theban army at Apollopolis. With the fall of Myos Hormos, the war was done. Despite the extra legal means of promotion, he was instantly offered the chancellorship. Why? I don't know. In any case, Demetrius converted to Kemetism, traveled to the Vicarius Orestes to gain recognition of his new territory. He even got another province out of the deal in exchange for just keeping order in it. So, he would similarly ensure his own power by making sure his title revocation was impossible. His power waxing, the new proconsul declared himself king of Upper Egypt in secrecy. However, he had no love for the Vicarius, who was, at the end of the day, a monotheistic lapdog. He claimed Egypt for himself and fought against the empire, marching his armies and liberating the pyramids of Giza. The Nile Delta swiftly fell to Khume's forces. You might be wondering why I'm not getting swarmed by Roman troops, and that's because of the Gothic invasion of Italy. With northern Egypt under his control, Khume's had a race to fight the Romans over in the lower Nile. In Syene, where this all started, Rome was bested and had their invasion thrown back in 404 AD. After a quick detour to liberate Berenice from the whole Roman sieges, Khume's renewed his campaign against the north, battling the Romans in the Nile Delta and winning the Battle of Sebennythus. With his control over Egypt secure, he finally reformed Kemetism, making it an organized faith once again. However, this was pretty much entirely limited to the upper aristocracy, at least for now. Khume's died as I realized that his name was not actually Khume's, that was just the title. His name was Panakhet. So now his son, Nesmeterpanakhet, is going to take power. And unfortunately, we lose all of our duchies and kingdoms, so now we have to reclaim it. Oh joy. Nobody really contested him, and so he was able to pretty bloodlessly just take the entirety of Egypt again. With the fall of Antipagris, he had successfully reclaimed his birthright. And had a long and prosperous— Oh, god damn it! Now that order had been restored, Farag had no intention of letting it slip a third time. He would make sure the new governors would be weak and governable, as well as malleable, since they were, 6, raising them in the traditional Kemeti way of life. Farag now set his eyes on the Sinai Peninsula. In 413 AD, he declared war. Roman and Egyptian armies clashed again and again, and every single time Rome was defeated. The situation would continue to spiral until finally, the emperors conceded. Farag had everything he needed. Although independence had only been declared in 427 AD, by this point it was a foregone conclusion. Quite literally, Egyptian and Roman troops had been killing each other, and Egypt was functioning as its own independent polity anyway. Still, Rome refused to give in, and it took another 2 years of fighting until, finally, Rome was willing to accept that Egypt was, in fact, independent. After 400 years of Roman control, and another 600 of foreign control, Egypt was finally free. Farag declared himself Pharaoh of Egypt once more, of a reborn Egyptian kingdom. In 430 AD, Egypt was at last independent. There was some expansion into Sudan later on, but in truth, that's where our story ends. After a long and prosperous reign, for real this time, he had died, and Kemet continued on. Time will tell how the reborn kingdom fares, but what all can say is that Egypt is finally, truly free. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.